claim some assets. Hold on. Don't do this on stream. Keys and entitlements. So what I'm gonna do first, actually, I'll do that later. I don't need to do that now for Humble Bundle. But hello everybody. So I've got my audio and my mic set up a lot better. So I'm going to, I don't know, be streaming a lot more now. And I'm going to try to set a schedule so people can know when to get on. But for now, it's kind of ad hoc still because I have ADHD and I don't like working towards or having set times for things and planning, throwing tickets and stories into the void or documenting a bunch of stuff no one's ever going to look at. So it's just not my natural workflow. Anywho, right now what I've got is I'm getting the Pathfinding grid. Well, okay, let me look at something real fast here. Prefab generator. Local map gen. Let's put you guys together. What is dictating the size? It looks like it's 100 by 100. So what I'm gonna do is take my pathfinding grid and make it 100 by 100, and then fix its offset. There we go. Now I want to scan again. There we go. I don't know what I have the local map gen set to, but I'll worry about that later. I'll just 75. That's close enough. I'll get that all lined up. But as you can see here, when I scan the grid with A*, it creates the pathing, right? Just for slopes. Kind of want it to. I don't know. That we'll see how that looks. But right now, as you can see, they're sitting on the level here. But when I hit play, right now they're coded to go to the 0 Y index because they aren't aware of the level yet. The trees in the level are all just not set as permanent assets. They're there just to get me by for now. One of the things that I've done is I've implemented oh, interesting. I might have to change how something there is causing that, but I'll worry about that in a second. I think the first thing I'm going to do is basically make them adjust their Y position to be the Y position of the pathfinding node they're on. So I'm going to go ahead and get him lined up here. And then get old Dragon Boy lined up. Alright, so they're centered in a tile now. Now when I hit play, what you'll see is, oops, I hit stop. They will basically pop down to the 0 coordinate on the Y because I don't have them adjusting to the grid. I also don't like that he is doing that. And the difference between him and the dragon is he has a capsule collider. And he is a mesh collider. that's going to get addressed as well as this, which I think it's the branch or the something right there is doing that. So now if I move, you see I'm just kind of, the dragon saw me, so he's after me. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is just that. And let's see here. I've done this before, but I'm going to have basically you're going to find the node in the grid, the pathfinding grid, and then you're going to pick that Y. But if I'm sticking with grid-based movement, I don't really need colliders because the grid knows where it can't go. And then snapping to the grid Y may not always look right for slopes or like, God, I really don't like these things. If I could just block that guy. Hold on. There we go. Man, the bots are so bad on kick. Get nearest node. Pop modification out. So let's go and update that guy. You get rid of the comments in here from past project planning. I think that's all that's going to take there. Control T is an easy way to get around. Actually, else we're going to do that. This class I'm getting ready to break up because it's gotten too girthy, if you know what I mean. It's only 260 lines, but we've been doing really good about keeping everything kind of compartmentalized, so I'm not gonna get lazy on that. So let's test this out. Previous work I've done with the A-star grid. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Okay, so now now he is pathing to the center of the tile, which is great. Now let's see what it looks like when I get on the edge here. Okay. So again, well, we shouldn't be able to share a tile. That's something I'm going to address. But as you can see now, we're moving. I don't like that spot. And again, I can get I know the A-star grid settings. I don't even have to get it to where it slopes like that. So like, come back over here. Oh, it's just because it can't. It's the step part of it. But this is a good step in the right direction for this. All right, so that's done. Clean up this class real quick. Too many comments. There's a lot of commenting from figuring stuff out. The NPC controller and the player's turn-based controller, I'm going to probably refactor here in just a second. And I'm going to do a slight organization of my script files because I've gotten so many now. Well, it's not that I've gotten many, but I've got some that could be, the folder structure could be better. So I'm going to do that because it's super exciting for you guys. I love agents. I fucking love them. No, do not build solution, dummy. No. Yeah, don't build. Why did I build? I don't want to build. All right, so one of the things I've noticed with the agents, which is very annoying, is it likes to put crap into the A star per or path. Build order. Set you as a startup. That's still not going to matter, but build configuration. None of this is going to last, so. Because Unity keeps regenerating. So right now, until I figure that out, I basically, if I have the AI do a lot of new files or anything like that, I just tell it not to do a build or stop the build. One, I don't want it building. Just make the changes and then we'll work from there. All right, so we clean this guy up. Now I want to I'm going to break it up. So because they're getting a little girthy and I don't like it. That's not so bad. Not so bad. Before any refactor, I always want to, I'm going to just go ahead and do a check-in. So you can use Copilot to create your check-in notes. It'll analyze what you've changed and then kind of create a note. It doesn't work every time, but when it does work, it's awesome. After I do the code reorganization, I may just do this simple little refactors later. No, I want to break them up. Come on now with your slowness. Yeah, see. 4,000 files. What the F? Oh. So I've added the assets for the vegetation and harvesting. Added plant or prefabs, models, and sprites or icons. NPC / end player. Snap to a star node position. So I'm going to commit this domain. I'm going to push, and then I'll do the refactor step. Because again, I like any refactor, I definitely like to do a check-in prior to it. And again, this isn't a stressful, like, big refactor, but just in case it doesn't go well, I can see it before and after and not have to dig through all those prefabs and models that I added. I'm gonna leverage every single. There's 30 plants and vegetables and flowers and mushrooms now for the farming system. And they all look really good. They've got their different growth stages. they've got animations for harvesting and like when they grow from one phase to the next, so like pop. I can show you that actually. It's pretty. So I always test out or check out assets in a separate project before adding it to the main project. No. And then if we look here, grab this guy. It's really polished. So the farming is, once I do this rearrangement of the code and a little refactor, I'm going to actually work on the farming. And there's so many of them. The only thing this didn't give me was the seeds. So I'm going to have to come up with seed models, which I probably have. But this will be the start of the vegetation stuff. All right, we're checked in. So now let's do this. Alt to new window, move. No. I'm going to have to get code made because it makes my life easier. As you can see, we've gotten a good amount of scripts now, but I've been keeping them organized. So AI, NPC Controller. We're going to create the brain. Control Shift A, and you can create a new class file like that, and then NPC motor. So what I'm doing is taking the NPC controller will be the coordinator. The brain is the logic of like what I'm gonna do, and then the motor is the movement and all that. What's up, Drogan? How's it going, man? And again, I like to keep the separation of concerns as I go. So let's just do that one more thing here. How are you doing today? Oh, lurk away, lurk away. Once I'm doing a little boring refactor and clean reorganization of my project real quick before I get deep into the farming stuff. So I'm gonna have the AI. I'm gonna get the goal and the logic behind farming for the AIs so they can, again, one of the Rimworld stuff, you know, they automatically will harvest stuff and all that and whatnot. So that's gonna be exciting. But yeah, so let's do that. And again, don't ever let anyone like tell you using AI is bad, especially if you got decades of programming experience. With AI, man, you can really start to learn, like use it as a guiding or a coach or a teacher, and you can get a lot better at programming. But it's a labor of love. I love programming, so I don't know. I've been doing it since I was 11, and like carpal tunnel and crap, dude. The best part about AI is the fact that I don't have to type novels anymore. I just review the novel and make sure it's what I want. Because I code review code all the time for people. Now I'm just doing it for AI. And again, yeah. So like go to Gemini. Like Gemini has deep research. ChatGPT has deep research. Anything I want to learn, I start out with a deep research report. So I'm like, okay, I want to research how to make clips on games, and you know, kind of detail out what you want in the deep research and kick that guy off and let it do its thing, and then read that report. And then what I typically do is go from the deep research report to a project plan, and then I kind of work through that project plan, and that's how I keep the AIs guided and on track. Because again, they don't you know, you change conversations, they lose reference. So here's the deep research report for my inventory and crafting system. And you see it, Gemini, so I just go to Gemini and say, hit the deep research button right here. And this is kind of my workflow, how I start to learn something new and also implement it. So it went through, it told me the best way to create a data-driven, event-driven system. It laid out like comparison of inventory storage structure, list versus dictionary. So like, it's like the list of items is going to be way slower than dictionary. Dictionary lookups are almost instantaneous. So it's really awesome to kind of see it kind of breaking down performance of different ways you can do stuff. But then I work from that and create my plans, and then I just start working through the feature. Control T, NPC Controller. Created the brain is now much cleaner, serving as the main component that holds everything together, while the new brain and motor classes handle the specific logic for decision making and movement, respectively. This structure will make your AI system simpler to manage and expand upon. Beautiful. Now let's do the player one. Boom, 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 boom. Nah, that's all for refactoring for now. I want to get to more exciting things. Well, actually, one more thing. So basically, I went here, I said import the code, I gave it my scripts folder, and I said, help me logically group things that should be together in a more organized way. So now it's basically, here's its suggestion for the project script organization. And I like what it's got here. So like scripts core. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of follow through this plan. Actually, I'm going to test to make sure that my NPCs aren't broke after that refactor. They shouldn't be. That looked like a pretty simple one. Uh-oh. It didn't, that chat conversation didn't have the snapping to grid changes. So let me fix that. Where was that? Move one tile. Preferences, project settings, compile. Yeah, I'll do that later. So here, again, really fast way to navigate Visual Studio is Control T, type the method you want, and go right to it. And now I'm there. I'm going to move one node. Because the refactor, the transform is now underscore transform because it's referencing the NPC controller from the motor. Don't ever let that discourage you. Do you know Elin? Have you played Elin? I have been obsessed with Elin lately. That's a single developer game. Noah, he's a beast. Uh, but this game project's 2 weeks old, and what I'm really doing here too is showcasing my AI workflow. I've created the Rimworld world generation and character generation kind of logic, created a deep crafting inventory system, and it's all been through deep research, project plans and then implementation using AI. So uh, there's other people that have made this game again. Yeah, there's always someone, but you can put your spin on the game. Like there's always, a simple approach to it. Yeah, put your spin on it, man. Don't ever be discouraged. Make the game you want to make, not what you think will sell. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to create a sandbox that's just kind of you dump the player in the world, sort of like Elin or Rimworld, and let them go, and it will. It just kind of emergence of events and stuff causes the players kind of create their own stories, their own goals. But you do, it's if you played Rimworld or Elin, then you know what I'm kind of going for, vibe wise. Vibin. Let's see here. There we go. A little better focused. What's the game kind of, or well, what's the game you were gonna make, or you were thinking about making? Because, like, see, this is the deep research report. I said I want to create a scriptable object uh, and event-driven inventory and crafting system in Unity 6.2 to this deep research in Gemini, and then it created this document, and then I review it, and basically it outlines all the classes, the definitions, the plan, the performance of a list versus a dictionary for your item list. And again, dictionary wins because it's a hash lookup and it's almost instantaneous. It's very awesome. And then this thing here, like I will just come over here to a new thing now that I've got that this is how you create a deep research report. And on anything, it doesn't have to be programming. Deep research on how to better diet or how to exercise plan. Deep research on, I don't know, like Unity assets that would uh, help you accomplish X feature or, different things like that. But then I take that document and I will click it right here. And now I'll say, yeah. No, let's say, and again, even if you find someone working on a similar game, yeah, your spin on it's always going to be different. Um, but basically, now that I've got that document attached, I'm going to go to the canvas, so it's got more room to type and create documents. Say, give me a detailed project plan to implement this feature. I can spell, I swear. And then from this project plan is I work through it. Well, one, I review it. If I like what it is, I like what it says, and it's got laid out really well. And typically it nails it. I don't have to do a lot of revisions in it. Um, and I'll use this project plan to work through those features with the AI, or like, okay, here, we're going to do task 1 of 1 or 1, 2. Now let's go to 3. And like, because AIs can lose context and not know like what's going on after you like go between conversations, because sometimes long running conversations can kind of lose context. So I like to use these project plans here, and then after I've got my plan, I'll export it to docs so I can reference it again easily. But then I'll just keep referencing back to this, like say, all right, let's do sprint 1. Give me all the code needed for sprint 1, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of my workflow, and it's kind of what I've been trying to show off here. So let me kind of show you what I've got so far. Getting sidetracked, but this is kind of sets the stage for what I'm doing. So let's go to the start screen. This is just placeholder art. This isn't the actual name of the game, and this isn't going to be art. All the art here is all placeholder. But so I wanted to learn Unity's UI toolkit instead of using the old UI technology they have, UGUI, because UI toolkit is very web-based kind of design pattern for UIs. You have a UXML document that kind of details your elements, sort of like HTML or HTML, and then you have style sheets, and then so it's kind of like you're building a web page. But I got all these features here, and like that's completely. Yeah. Well, again, this is all these UIs. So everything you're seeing here, I had AI. I directed AI to build. So I was like, give me a UI toolkit start screen with buttons, hover, with hover features, sprites, and then center the stuff, all that. And I worked through it with it. So if we look at, now that's the start screen. Here's world generation. And it's like Rimworld. So you got creates a planet, and like if you look at the console logs here, I doubt you can see it, but it's like that. This is a hilly area. The fertility, it tells me the fertility, the vegetation, the rainfall, the temperature, and that's how it's able to procedurally generate this world. I got to create the actual rotator, but you would pick your spot that you would want to start your colony at, like that, and then what you don't see over here is now I'm not actually using this feature, but it does this is basically the height data from the world where you click on it. So if I go to a mountain area, it's going to be more bumpy. Yep 100%. So I'm telling you that deep research to project plan to then work through the project plan with an AI, and this is a very complicated feature. Procedural gen, I don't know, my brain shuts down on it, like Perlin noise and all that. And then I use some Verneuil and some other stuff, but it built out this whole system you're seeing right here. I did deep research. I said, I want to be able to create a Rimworld like planet generator. And then it did the research, and then I made a plan out of the research, and then I just sit there and go through it. Like, actually, I got a research that I can do, and I'll show you, kind of give you, like, watch this. This is fucking cool. Gemini is the shit. I love Gemini a lot more than ChatGPT. I use them both. Don't get me wrong, but I lean towards Gemini because of the deep integration with Google Docs and all that stuff. But see, like, I'm going to find my quest. So I asked it to detail and research a quest system. And another thing is, I always tell it, I want to create these systems. Each one of these are systems that isolated, right? So I could sell like that planet generator as an asset if I wanted to. They're decoupled. So I always say, give me a scriptable object driven planet generator that has factions and maps out settlements and stuff. Gemini, it's $20 a month is the one I use, but you get free. The free tier gives you X number of deep. If you just have a Google account, you get like a couple deep research reports for free. There's stuff you can do for free. I can't remember hold on, let me see. Gemini AI limits per day. And I have, with the $20 one, I have not. Free accounts get 5 prompts for the 2.5 Pro. These audio overviews are insane. You should join my Discord. I post all this stuff and I share all this knowledge all the time. So like here, so another thing I do is from those deep research reports or the project plans, I will create AI podcasts that I can listen to and kind of consume them in the background.
You know that feeling when a game just feels different? Like, it's not just a new coat of paint, but something really fundamental has changed. Today, we're diving deep into Parasite Eve 1, a game its own director, Takashi Tokita, called a cinematic art.
So this was created off a deep research doc, and I was basically wanting to create the Parasite Eve 1 combat system, and I did a deep research about it and made this AI
which,
podcast.
back then, was kind of revolutionary.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you hear it?
It really broke the mold, especially compared to, other Square titles from that era.
Right. Most RPGs had that hard cut. You're walking around, then bam, separate battle screen.
Exactly. Parasite Eve just
Oops. Here, I'll drop this in the chat, my link tree. Because I just love sharing knowledge and I love interacting with creatives and stuff. So hop in the Discord and let's chill. So I'm gonna hit play.
You know that feeling
I'll
when a
let that
game
continue.
just feels.
in the world.
And that's our mission today, really. To unpack that unique combat system, how it blended things, how it felt so seamless.
And then look at, okay, how would you actually build something like that today? Say in Unity.
Yeah, and we'll touch on some surprising bits, like how designs that seem simple on the surface, they often need some pretty complex architecture underneath.
That cinematic RPG thing wasn't just marketing talk, It was baked into the architecture. No battle screen meant combat wasn't separate. It was just another state the game could
Sounds
be in.
good, doesn't it? It's
state
insane
within the
how
world
cool that
itself.
is.
Precisely.
Now the deep researched audio overview you can generate is like, I don't know, it can be like 5 to 10 minutes, I think. But if you go to Notebook LM, and then so this is another hack that I highly recommend people do. It's not a hack, it's just, a way to workflow. So you create a new notebook, you reference the deep research documents that you wanted here. Actually, I don't want this one. Well, you can come over here and generate audio overview now, but you can get a real long one. So you can give it a bunch of your research documents. You can say, give me a longer audio overview, and I want you to deep dive into it to discuss it, or you can have it give you a brief, and then like critique or debate. But then you can create like a 70-minute podcast off of all your research, and just like have something as you're walking or you're out and about, you can listen to it and learn about what you had at research. So for character movement, I'm doing a grid-based movement. Let me show you that. Actually, here's character creation too. All of this interface and stuff here, I had Gemini. I just said, give me a UI toolkit character creation interface, and I gave it a picture of the Rimworld character creation screen, and then had it build this guy out. Randomize. The name generator is still kind of, I nerfed it. Now it creates really dumb names. I got to fix that. But like here you got adulthood and childhood features. So your childhood, whatever you get, the factors into your stats. Your adulthood factors into stats, and then you can have like different effects. So like in Rimworld, you can have like broken bones, your old bad back, or some different positive effects. But see here, like this character starts with a flu, and then you can build up your team. But this whole interface here built with Gemini. Again, like I said, and this is so I'm going to give a presentation on AI at the University of British Columbia in November, one of the top colleges in the world, right? And I'm a college dropout, self-taught programmer, and so it's really exciting for me because I've basically been blowing people away with all this. Yeah, it's $20 a month. Don't get the expensive one. You don't need it. You don't need that $200 one. I have only once reached my limits on the $20 one, and it's when I was doing world building. So I was trying to basically kind of come up with some lore and kind of flesh out some stuff. So I was having it create like the alcohols, the drugs of the world, the different races and factions and stuff like that. So I was doing like back-to-back deep research reports, but I've never hit the limit outside of that one time. So let's go back to the character controller scene. Are you doing grid-based movement? Because I'm using grid-based movement, and I'm using A star. And again, A star has a free version here. All right. Come on, what are you doing? I've rolled my own pathfinding code using the A star algorithm, but it's to get it real performant. It takes a lot of time and effort. So so another big thing about this game project is I've built all the systems myself from scratch with using my AI workflow. The only paid I'm using this asset, but you can use the free version and get what you need out of it. But the paid one has a couple extra features that I don't even think I use. But this is the one asset that I did not write that I'm using in the game project. Every other thing you've seen, I've built from scratch, and I've built it to be scriptable object driven. So it's all data driven. It's easy for anyone outside of me, like non-programmers, to add new items, add new properties, add new stuff. But so now if I go into play, you push, basically A star is real easy to do. You put the game object in your scene, you add a star path to it, you add a grid, and then you kind of just set how big your grid is. Now watch this. See the blue here? It takes a fraction of a second to, I just regenerate it. Now you don't, okay, so again, A star works beautifully with that. Actually, let me show you this. This is so cool. I may send you this code. I don't know if you're going to have companions or not, but oh, where'd it go? No, it's this guy. Oh yeah, it's already open. So before I kind of committed to pathfinding, I was doing this is so cool. This is A star, but not really grid based. So I'm going to click over here. These are all my followers, right? And right now they'll just kind of form a circle around me and try to stay with me, right? But when I get into a narrow corridor, like they kind of get like weird, but now they'll pile up, instead of trying to do the circle logic where they try to form around me in a circle, they'll follow me in a straight line through. They detect if they have space to do this or if they need to kind of follow in a straight line. So when I'm in a tight corridor, they just kind of boom. A star is really badass. So if you it solves all your pathfinding problems in very complex environments. It's using burst compiler jobs in the background. It's very simple to use, and you can get running with it in no time flat. So what I would recommend you do is a Gemini deep research report. Give it the link here. So like go Gemini. I'll actually do the report and I can send you it to, I'll drop it in my Discord. Give me are you using Unity for your game? And again, like I said, rolling your own pathfinding is a bitch, and it's going to be non-performant your first couple takes or iterations, and it's just not worth the time. I would just take the time to learn this asset and use it for your pathfinding. And if you have questions about it, I can help you through it. But so right now what I'm going to say, give me a Unity 6.2 character and NPC movement system that is based off of Pillars of Exile movement that leverages this A-star pattern. Yep, this is, so the workflow I'm going to show you right now, yeah, totally. Like, watch this. It's fucking crazy, dude. So now I'm going to go to deep research. And again, I don't usually give it a very complex sentence. So, you know, like I'd give it the highlights. But here's one thing you can do to make your, oh shit, god damn it. No. Oh well. Let me rewrite that. So before you do a deep research, before you do your prompt for your deep research, use Gemini to improve your prompt for deep research. This is a hack too, or a trick. So I want to make a Unity 6.2, and this will basically outline all the code and give you this system. Character controller and NPC character controllers that are modeled off of, or that are just like PoE or Path of, or Pile of Exile. Use the A-star, because A-star can do grid-based movement, but it also handles nav mesh. Linked nav meshes, like you want to be able to jump across a gap and your AI can follow you, stuff like that. It is battle tested, powerful. Again, it solves your pathfinding, it solves your AI movement, it solves you figuring out how to do clicking and have your character walk through a complex environment. It's so fucking easy, dude. Using A-star pathfinding for the pathfinding. Now, after I write my basic little prompt here, I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to say, improve this prompt for deep research. And now step one here to kind of, and I normally don't do this step, but it can help make the research document a lot better. But this basically, these usually come out really great because, like, okay, here's what I want, here's the deliverables, here's the format that I want it in. Did something just happen? I don't think my alerts are on. Hey, Thompson. Hey, Thompson. So it's thinking of how to improve my prompt that I was gonna. No, damn it, my bad. Hold on. So I'm gonna refresh. New chat. All right. So here's my one-liner. Like, I want a Unity 6.2. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I really need anything yet. I'm just getting started. But let me finish this thought here. So I'm saying improve this prompt. And I'm gonna, I don't really need to use Canvas for this. Canvas just lets it have bigger context. It can write longer documents and stuff and do code. Canvas is great for code and project plans and stuff, but for this, I'm just gonna use a normal prompt. Say, improve this prompt for deep research. So I took my one-liner and my link to that wiki article. I have a Discord here. Let me drop it in the chat. Here's my link tree. Let me know if the link doesn't work. Drop in the, yeah, anybody hop in the Discord, and like, I love talking about game dev. I love fucking researching stuff, learning new things. Yeah, I'm in there every day, just kind of knowledge dumping and sharing stuff. And I'm looking for more creatives to join and, like, I don't know, just kind of chat, come hang. All right, so here's the improved prompt. Project goal. I'm developing an ARPG in the Unity 6.2 with a pathfinding asset. My goal is to create a player and NPC controllers to replicate the core mechanics and responsive feel of Path of Exiles. Please provide a comprehensive technical guide and architectural blueprint covering the key systems, core movement logic, advanced movement skills, NPC AI controller, core systems of pathfinding integration. And now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to deep research. Usually you got to start a new chat. I'm going to dump that in there. I'm going to hit go. Now, again, I don't usually do this step, but anytime you want to improve, like you want to put out a sentence and then say, improve this for this task or this prompt for this whatever, you can get a better prompt. Use AI to write your prompts better. I don't do it all the time, but sometimes, like here, I think is a good idea because it's going to lay out the information for the deep research report a lot better than my one-liner. All right, so this is what it looks like when you start. It kind of tells you what it's going to do, and it kind of lays it out, but I just hit start research. And then what you'll see here is really cool. I like watching this and like picking through the stuff it does. It's looking at. So it's going to start crawling the internet and researching stuff. It's going to watch videos. It's going to read web pages. It's going to do all kinds of different things. And it's going to show you what it's kind of doing as it's building up this research. It's stupid cool. I love it. I've amassed and learned so many new skills because of deep research and this workflow I'm showing you. Like, it's just, I don't know. I love it. I love it. Come on. Typically it shows stuff faster. I'm in a hotel right now for work. I'm traveling. So the internet may be pooping. I'll refresh it real quick. Yeah, no, it'll show you, it'll start showing the links and stuff. You can click on the links and stuff, but I'm just going to let it do its thing in the background here. Okay, here we go. So my initial step is to lay out a comprehensive research plan to address the details, and then it's researching all these websites, and then you can kind of look at the sites that it's looking at. So it's looking at all the different documentation, wikis. It's looking up stuff for probably Path of Exiles. They just looked up this video right here. It's watching videos. It's reading articles, and then it'll just keep going and iterating and building out the research. So we'll just let it do its thing, and we'll come back to it. This is another cool tool I found, how to create normal maps from your textures or your sprites. Because I'm doing an Octopath Traveler, what do you want to call it? 2.5D approach. So here's like a dragon enemy. But you can kind of see the Octopath Traveler effects going on in the background, the depth of field happening. And I just attacked him. My damage is super high, so I instant kill. These trees are still sprites and not billboarded. Everything's going to be quads instead of sprites or sprite renderers. I'm going to use quads so I can get the lighting and stuff right. Quads are just much easier to get that Octopath Traveler look you're going for. Let's see where that's at. Foundational knowledge, comparing core systems, identifying next steps, researching websites, synthesizing foundational concepts, resolving architectural questions, shifting focus to implementation details. Did you do more YouTube videos? Synthesizing foundations. So it's still working. It's up to like 73 websites now. But just let it cook, and then we'll come back to it. All right, so I am going to go here. So I asked it to help me. I gave it my scripts folder by going here, import code, and here's my scripts folder in my Unity asset project. And I said, hey, tell me, because I've been going kind of hard and fast, and I've been organizing stuff well, but I said, tell me the best folder structure and make sure and tell me which classes should probably be grouped together in a folder so I can organize my scripts and stuff better in my project. So I'm going to follow through on this guy here. So scripts core. Let's do that while the research is going on. Because see, I've created like, and again, this project's only 2 weeks old really, and everything has been hand rolled except for the pathfinding system. So I'm gonna create a core folder. Actually, let me check in. I've been doing stuff here. So GitHub Desktop and other tools, you can use Copilot to create your commit notes, which is super handy. So it'll analyze the changes that are right here. So it says removed unused props and updated materials, and then added NPC brain and NPC motor scripts. So instead of you writing a detailed commit note, you can just have the AI analyze what you changed and write that commit note. So I'm going to go ahead and check in this real quick before I get to this big refactor. Or it's not a refactor, I'm just moving stuff around. So this isn't going to break stuff. I just want to do it before I get into this. And actually, because this is going to be a I'm going to create a physical copy. Even though I use source control, I still create actual physical backups every now and then. The reason I do a file copy every now and then is because I can come to Gemini and I can give it the scripts from my current code base and then the one right beforehand without having to go to source control. And it can see the differences that have happened. And like, again, I don't really have to, I don't use this very much, but I don't know. I'm just always backing shit up before I do anything. So, BK. So I'm going to do a file copy real quick and then I will move on. So I've already checked into source control. I'll go ahead and push. See if that research is done. It's analyzing the results. Parabolic jumps, teleports, complete behavior trees. Let me turn on do not stir. Yeah, I'll check him out, Thompson. I just gotten back into streaming. Videos prior to today and like yesterday sounded like shit. A year ago I was good, like my audio sounded good. And all that. And then I don't know what it is. My new computer, I've had trouble getting it to sound good. But I bought some new VST plugins yesterday, and I think I sound amazing now compared to. If you look at recent videos, it sounds so bad. I'm probably going to delete all the recent videos that I've had prior to yesterday, just because the audio vocal quality was trash. Now I've got it dialed in. I've got an Audio Technica mic. I've got an interface. I'm using the Phantom 48 volts. I got all this crap. but it's sounding a lot better, I believe. The test I did yesterday sounded amazing. So, it's creating the report for the pathfinding, and then I'll send you this deep research report, and I'll also make the project plan and send that to you as well. And then you can kind of work or go from there. And again, you can use deep research and stuff way outside of coding. It can be anything. Like, I want to find the best art assets for a modular 2D sprite character reminiscent of Final Fantasy games in the Super Nintendo. I want to research, all these different things. Like, I use it for all kinds of crap. Because again, you see here, my G drive is just full of deep research. So, Rimworld map generation enhancement plan, pathfinding turn-based best practice of research, world building, dark fantasy steampunk conflict, proximity chat, Vivox versus Janus, AI industry lecture, a treatise of psychoactive and ritualistic consumables. That was like the drugs and the alcohol research for the world building. Unity module character asset research, stuff like that. Again, I use deep research all the time. All right, so this is done. All right, let's get going on this then. All right, so it's done. It's created the deep research. Now it's gonna kind of outline all the things, kind of show you the code. You want me to send you this here? Export to docs. Give me a follow too, man. Like, again, I'm gonna be streaming heavily going forward now that I got my audio right. So here's this. I'm going to drop it in my Discord. And then I'm going to create a project plan off of it. Honestly, yeah, like I've been, like, again, it's always hard to find people that are kind of passionate and willing and stuff. Yeah, we can talk. Like I said, if you hop in the Discord, we'll do a voice chat and kind of talk. And again, I can do it as a one man shop. But and again, I'm used to it. But yeah, dude, if you got, I've been looking for people that want to help with the project. So yeah, we can have a conversation about it for sure. Alrighty. So I've created this document. Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna reference that doc, or I'm gonna create a new chat real quick. I'm going to reference the documentation I just made. I'm going to go to Canvas. I'm going to say, give me a detailed project plan. Detailed project plan to make this system. In the research doc. It's going to break it up into phases or sprints usually. It'll give you like a Gantt chart and all that. So this is where now that I have my project plan, because the deep research is a long document. It's very detailed. I don't feed that to AI and kind of try to keep them on task. I use these project plans to do it. So here's where, one, I typically work through the project plans with Gemini in this same chat here, and I'll show you what that looks like. But also, if this is really cool, watch this shit. I'm gonna go here to this game project because I'm not. This isn't my serious project at all. So I'm gonna go open up this in the code editor. Now I've got Copilot. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it the plan here. Okay, man, definitely. Let's talk for sure, because I can engineer and build everything, but the more hands and the more minds and the more ideas that I've got, the better off things will be. So but basically the agents here would write out all the code and like start putting it. It would actually create all the code and put it here in the project, and then I could review it and commit to it. But the agents do all the damn work in the project, and it's really fast. So I can basically have this project plan hammered through and get all the code out of it in no time flat using these. And I'm going to do it real quick on stream just to show you, for anyone who's there lurking, just because it's kind of a throwaway project. Now, the one thing I've noticed lately with 2026 Visual Studio and Unity, it could be 2022 as well, but don't just create the code. Don't build it. I will do that. So it tries to build the project and it can error out. Well, typically at a non-Unity project, this works fine. I'll let it build the code. If it creates errors, it'll review the errors and then work past those. But I'm just going to have it create the code for the first two phases. So I'm saying give me phase 1 and 2's code. Create the code for phase 1 and 2. And I'm going to say go. So again, deep research to project plan. And then I actually don't use the agents that much. But again, especially if it's a fresher project and stuff, like, yeah, this is really cool stuff, really cool tech. But this is, if you have your Copilot subscription for here, you can use the agents. But I typically just work with Gemini here, and I copy the code out of Canvas. And I review it, copy it out, and all that. So it's going to do its thing. We'll watch it real quick. Do I want to use that one? Yeah, it's fine. I didn't mean to use GPT-5 mini. It'll be alright. Oh, it's almost 12. So right now it's creating the code to implement the Path of Exile character controller and movement system. It found my player input controller that I had from before, so it's modifying that guy. So it just made the change, and I can see here, I can review everything it did and what it's, all that. Now it's going to be working on the AI probably. Mini seems to be a little slower, but it'll create all the code like that you need to do everything. I'm probably not going to keep this because I actually don't want this, and I'm not working towards this, but just an example of how fast you can go from deep research to project plan to having the code all built out in the system, and it will tell you how to set it up in Unity and all that. So I don't know. It's just wild. Like AI is, we're living through revolutionary time with it. But and again, I've been designing and engineering software since I was 11 years old, professionally since 2011. I work in, I automate giant pharmacy factories. I do a lot of PLC programming. Like prior to AI, I've got, decades of experience. So, and again, the best part about AI is not having to type out novels anymore, and I can just review the code. I told you not to build the project. Oh, it did it. Okay. Okay. Nice, nice. So now it's gonna kind of go tell you what it did, and I'm gonna review the code it made, and then it's gonna say, okay, here's all that what I've done for phase 1 and 2, and here's what the next steps be, or it will offer suggestions and improvements too. But I'd probably just say, if this was good, now you can hit keep and keep what it did, or you can undo everything it just did. But another cool feature about agents is they make a checkpoint. Where's that? Right here. They create a checkpoint before everything they do. So this is almost like a source control. Like if the agent wrote a bunch of shit or made a bunch of code or you messed things up or whatever, you can restore back to before this prompt. And every time you use agents, you get a restoration checkpoint essentially. And you can, if you don't like what it did, you can just go right back to here and restore it. But typically, again, I rarely have to use that because it just usually nails what the fuck I want. So that's the workflow. I'm going to drop this in the chat real fast. And I'm going to get back to my game. I've been rattling. Alright, undo. I don't want to keep that. Alright, so I'm going to close this. Create serialize. Mesh render editor. I'll just clear them. Those are at 6.2 error probably. So let's go back to my reorganization. Core events. My script folders are, it's getting long in the tooth. Game events, core enums. I wonder if I got all the enumerations in here. I'm gonna do a slight clean or just organization of my scripts so it's not so long, and put some of this stuff away. Core assets. Scripts character. Character health, body part manager, health capacity calculator, prosthetic manager. So AI goals. I think I've already got that pretty organized. No, I don't. So I've modeled the NPCs off of Rimworld. So they have goals and needs and thoughts that affect them. So sometimes they won't do what you want. Utility. Actions. And again, I checked into source control and the and I made a file copy prior to doing this really moving scripts like this isn't usually an issue because Unity just updates the references and it's not like it's going to break anything. It shouldn't. Psychology. Mood. Needs. Need. I'll move this over here so I don't have to keep flipping windows. Hold on a sec. So I got the hotel TV over here. I need to order lunch. This is not my home setup. I'm in a hotel room, streaming on hotel Wi-Fi. That's probably a good thing, right? Need hunger. Thought deaf. AI controller, job runner, APC brain. Well, that's... I'm going to put this with goals. I feel like that's a goal thing. Okay, so that's done. Let's go to items. Scripts, items. Just organization is important. So I have I use polymorphism and scriptable objects with my items and inventory system to allow me to quickly add new properties to items and stuff in a data-driven way. So my whole inventory and item system and enchantment, blessed and cursing, transmogrification is all data-driven with scriptable objects. So I can expand it real easily peasy. Resource property, equipment property, container property, armor property, item property. Potion property, where's that at? All the properties, equipment, okay. Now I'm going to have a crafting folder. And another good reason to keep your logical components and classes in their own sections is sometimes you don't want to, consider the entire code base. You just want to consider a section of it, in a deep research or a fucking prompt or you're just looking for code. It makes it so much easier. I am blind. Hold on. Recipe manager. Crafting bill. Where's that at? Alright, we'll put these in here first. So the bill system, like from Dwarf Fortress or Rimworld, you can go to like a crafting station and say, I want 10 of this object made, and your colonists will, if their needs are met, they're not hungry, they're not starving, they're not hurt, they will go actually work on that station and craft those things for you, but only if they're feeling like it. Ooh. Crafting station def, crafting job context, processor, recipe def, okay. Yay. Hold on, I got a call, 1 sec. That was a meeting I was not aware of. I told him I didn't want to stop streaming, so I was like, I work from 2 to 11 right now on the East Coast because I'm just watching the code or whatnot. And so I had a late night, and I didn't know we had a meeting. And technically, my day doesn't start till 2:30 Eastern, so I kind of had him push it out. All right, back to it. Bless him. It's a meeting about AI and using generative AI and stuff to enhance our documentation and stuff like that. I'm like the AI guru at work. Enhancements. Yeah, this is so much better. This organization is going to keep me sane. Sorry, I'm doing boring stuff, but I just got to get this knocked out. I'm about to get to functionality and showing you some coolness. I do need to get food ordered though. So our items can have enchantments. They can be cursed or blessed. They can have traits, and the type of material you build the item with matters, and that material can also be kind of inherited or it's just really in depth. So there's no two items that are pretty much ever the same because they're always going to have some variance or some property, like depending on your crafting skill, the quality of the material, the type of material. So you got this really, it's not like Diablo loot, like a suffix, prefix. It's deeper than that. Go away. Services. One, two, three, four. All right, so we got inventory, item def, item instance, item factory, material def. Where's that go? It'll just stay there. Now that's good enough organization for items. World. Yeah, this one needs it for sure. It's getting long in the tooth. World generation pipeline, world generator, faction generator, river generator. You gotta have that. Can't go without your river generator. Road generator, cave generator. Technically, I don't think I'm gonna use the cave generator, but I'll keep it around. That algorithm is a pain in the ass to keep because it tries to do like deposit materials into the earth and like create cave networks and stuff, but I'm not gonna. It's not. The world's gonna be more flattish, kind of like Rimworld. Like it's gonna be like this, like a couple levels. You're not gonna actually go like digging down and whatnot. So if you think of Elin or Rimworld, think of that because you got this is a local map you're looking at here, and then those trees are all going to be replaced. All the assets are temporary. Why is my grid so far off? Whatever. I'll get that fixed later. Now we're going to do local. Local map gen. Quit having a heart attack, Pewter. I don't know if I agree with this organization. Data. I guess noise is data. Data. I also built a level editor system. It's early stages, but it's going to be what the players use to, build walls, place stuff, all that goodness. And again, all these systems have been hand rolled through deep research and project planning, and then I go at it because I have a clear vision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Runtime editor UI. Is this a... That is a UI page. I'll leave that there. Level editor palette. I guess I'll take it. Yeah, this is so much nicer. My script folders were just getting too long. And again, it was just like, this kind of synergizes them. Or gets the stuff that is, So what I was doing with my UI toolkits, and again, I kind of like this, is I was keeping all the aspects of stuff that for this interface and this screen, it's all together. Oh, I guess I didn't do that. I never put these in here. Okay. Oh, they're still up in character. So I started to do that. I really like UI Toolkit. I do. Like compared, you got one game object with a UI document, and it's got a style sheet and a UI document, instead of a canvas with a billion game objects in it and stuff. It's so much more performant. The workflow is web-based. Like you create your markup, and then you create your style sheet, and then you have a script that is going to bind the data. So the way I've done it is I have this is the controller for the interface. This is the data binder. So this binds all the character creator information to the UI. These are the events, the UI events for the character creator screen. Here's a list manager. It manages all the list and stuff. And then this is a reference to all the UI elements. So I've basically followed the MVVM pattern, where model view model pattern. So every every script there is, it's a single responsibility and owns its thing, and I don't have this big God script for the character creator. So I really like the way that's broken out. I do. UI crafting. I think I already got that. Crafting controller. Control Shift N to create a new folder. Cursor. This script is going to go away, but I still got it here, so I'll put it in its logical place. Priority queue. That is also probably going to go away because that was it was used when I was doing I was hand rolling my own pathfinding for the world generation, the planet generation, like Rimworld, and now I'm using A star, so I'm gonna swap out A star for that, but I'll organize it for now. So let's see where we're at. I'll leave. I'm not going to do this one for now. I do want to do this eventually. But let's see where we are. Actually, alrighty. Much cleaner. Much cleaner. It was getting I was just moving too fast, so I'm kind of glad I took time to sit down and do this. Did I skip a section? Character generator, where are you at? You're going to be in the root unit model, runtime stats, player stat tracker. Whatever. I'm done reorganizing scripts. Let's see if I broke anything. All right, let's go back to the start screen. We'll just go through every screen to make sure everything's fine. This really shouldn't break anything, but you know, it can. Not really. Unity's good about updating references. So if you move a script and whatever classes or prefabs or objects are using it, they find it. All right. So this looks like it's working. Again, that's not the game name. This is all just stand-in stuff. Let's go to World Gen. All right, that looks to be working. Okay. No. What's this? Faction manager. No faction def of type player found in the faction manager list. Maybe I forgot to do that. Oh. That'll do it. So I keep all the data or scriptable objects in data. I'm going to organize this shit too. But for the most part, it's fine. I guess list, if I move those things, list can break. Or no, I think it's, I will come back to that. Oh God, I forgot about the road networks being weird. I got to come back to the road generation. So now that I got my factions in here, I can build the settlements. And look, it puts like, it builds, so the yellow dots are settlements, and it builds like crazy highways across the ocean right now. The road generator needs polish. And again, I'm not gonna worry about road generation, because each yellow dot, it tries to create a road between all the settlements, at least one, and then it's just not good. I don't want it to cross large bodies of ocean. I want it to, and when I switch out the pathfinding, because this is a custom pathfinding implementation, it will use A star and it'll find better routes for the roads. And the river generation, because like right here, like this is a river. Let me see if I can. Yeah, actually this, I gotta fix this too. Where's it at? So this is cool, but right now there's connectivity, so, well, you can't see the roads, but it actually knows, this cell on the world map knows that it's got a river on it, and it puts that river there, but it also connects it to the other river cells. And the roads, if you could see the roads right now, I need my triplanar shaders hiding the roads. But if like you hit a 4-way on the road, like that map section will actually have the road networks and pointing in the right ways and connecting to adjacent cells. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that or if I'm just gonna procedurally gen all the local spots, but right now I do, each piece of land factors in the different, its surrounding neighbors and stuff, so it can it's really using the height and terrain data from the erosion and rainfall across the entire map, and every cell is aware of the cell beside it and all that. It's really cool. The road generator, don't look at it. It's a TBD, or in flight, we'll say. All right, next scene. Character creation. Action Manager, you're good. You're good. Again, this is all stand-in art right now. So I own a shitload of assets. I can't use that in play mode. So I can quickly pull out art assets and stuff from my asset store purchases and stuff using asset inventory. If asset inventory is great for any of your assets, even if they aren't assets from the asset store, this guy is amazing. But let me show you this screen if people are watching and haven't seen it. It's kind of the character creation. Here's all the skills. Here's the combat skills. Here's the weapon masteries. You can see the adulthood and childhood that this character was randomly created with, the favorite color of this character, the age, the sex, and these factor into your skills. The childhood, and adulthood, and race and all that. Right now you can I don't know. Rimworld you can pick the lifespan or psych whatever you are in your life, but I don't know if I'm gonna get down to this kind of nitty grittiness, so that may go away. Here's all the races, and then a bunch of classes. Then you pick your guys. So that screen's still working. And again, I don't think that what I just did is going to break anything at all. Here is the UI or the inventory UI toolkit inventory I'm making. I'm modeling it after Sky UI, which is a inventory mod for Skyrim, and it's it's cool. But it's got a ways to go still. But it's there. The bones are there. I don't know. Grid-based inventories, like I want to simplify inventory, but I still want you to be able to stockpile and hoard a bunch of shit. So my goal when it comes to inventory is like your base. Like, okay, say you create a chest in your base and you got 2 chests, and now you put these items in this chest and your food in this chest. Now you start to get like tons of chests, and like you gotta remember where the hell you put this item and stuff. But at your base, all crafting stations are aware of all items on the map, and you can just basically the recipes will let you know if you have the required items, no matter how many chests and whatnot you have. And I think the way I'm going to do base inventory is you don't have to, yes, you're going to build chests and containers. You're going to put them on the map so it's visually there. But every one of them is just going to open up into the base inventory screen. It's going to be something like this with a real advanced filtering and stuff. And even you can set the default filter for each chest, but I don't want you to have to sit there and like micromanage a bunch of fucking grids and drag and drop shit. I don't know, man. I'm just not fun. I'm not fond of the Tetris and the grid, like nightmare grids and tons of chests and digging through your base to find shit. So every chest expands the capacity of your base inventory. So you add new chest, now your base inventory screen can hold more. And then you can just filter it down to what you want in your base inventory. And instead of like, oh man, I could find a reference, but you all probably know what I'm talking about. It's just like you got like 6 chest windows up and you're like dragging items and stuff over just to organize. Now you're going to manage your personal inventory. We're going to manage, but it's still going to be easier than normal. But when you come back to the base, you can basically do a dump. And it will dump everything auto dump will dump everything that exists that's not marked as important or your favorite in your inventory will get dumped if there is an instance or a stack of it in your base inventory. So you can quickly offload. You can go out, explore, fill up your inventory until your weight capacity or whatever. Come back to the base, auto dump everything. And then just go to the crafting station and see if you got the stuff you need to make this or that. I want to make it controller friendly out of the gate, because a lot of these games like Rimworld and Elin and stuff, you can't. It's a lot of drag and dropping and grid management and stuff, and it's not controller friendly at all. So I don't know. It's I don't know. Like, this is kind of my approach and how I'm going about it. I'll just leave that there. Uh, Character creation, controller. Yeah, we're done. All right, so nothing's broken. My scripts are organized into better folder structures. I need the startup of the dragon. I gotta fix that because he's popping down to the ZY. Chasing me. All right, that. All right. I think everything's fine, except for this stupid M targets. This is, I don't know what this is, but it's not my code. It's Unity's code, and I don't like that it's doing that. Let's see what. 6.2 gives me these errors on loading of new scenes or recompiles. They don't reference So I know how to troubleshoot this in Unity, because you can open up Unity and basically, I don't know what you would call it, I can't remember, but it's like debug mode, and you can get better exception information about what's happening in Unity. And the fact that I can access the packages too actually allows me to dig into Unity stuff a little more too. So like if I click this, oh, typically it does. Let's see what it says about this. Scripts or a Unity editor bug. So I gave it those exceptions. I'm going to go ahead and give it my code base too, just so it can like review it, and maybe it'll find because it's on the enable and disable methods somewhere on one thing or something is blowing up, and it's like an editor. It's not play mode bug, but it's annoying and I want it to go away. I might need to delete my library, cache, and let it rebuild. It could be that. They're usually not caused by your scripts. Let's break down what's happening. Missing rest, serialized object not creatable, exception. With Unity's own internal editor scripts like game object inspector. This means that the script is trying to use an object that doesn't exist. It's null in your case. Rapidly entering next scene. Project library, that's what I think it is right here. Restart Unity, reset your editor. Sometimes having multiple or locked inspector windows can cause these problems. Clear your library folder, close Unity, open the project, delete, reopen Unity. All right, yeah, again, I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to do that. And I want to check in our changes. Oops. I don't want to go to work, man. I just want to keep grinding codes. Yes. So I'm using Visual Studio Community 2026 Insider Edition. Just because I kind of like to have the latest one when it comes, because of all the process improvements and AI tweaks and stuff. I just want to see what they're doing. So we'll just do that. Refactor project folder structure and update faction manager. Moved and reorganized scripts and new subfolders for AI, core items, project structure, maintainability, updated world gen, Unity to include the faction definitions, commit. I love the AI notes because it parses what you've got in your change set here and then does it the needful. All right. I love being the only developer on a project sometimes. I don't have to worry about merges. The game is 418 megabytes so far. And some of that is garbage that I'm going to take out. It's temporary textures and models that I'm using. So I'm going to do a purge here shortly and get, I'm trying to keep this thing lean and light. I'm not importing I'm not using any Unity assets that import a ton of crap. So my actual game is tiny right now compared to a project where I use a bunch of assets. Alright. I may need to update Unity also, but I'm not going to do that. Oh, what time is this meeting? I don't want to do it. I don't want to go. Let me see where we're at here. Hold on just a sec. Hours for this stream. Oh, that's a pretty good amount of time. Gross. I don't want to work. I want to code. I want to dev all day. Get to the pharmacy. All right. Go. All right, we're back. And what do we got? Just Cynthia errors? Yay. Those are for assets that I'm gonna get rid of. Those are so we just got easy warnings. We got rid of the editor bug, or the Unity editor errors, which were just driving me crazy. So right now Actually, let's see how big this folder is. This is a temporary, where I put all the temporary stuff I'm using as placeholder art. 51 megs. Not so bad. Where's pack? What the fuck? Why do I have this? Oh, the force block. Yeah, this guy is also going away. This is for temporary models, but I know I got what I need out of it. I need to delete it. Don't like it. Trying to keep the project clean, but I'm going to move you to temp models. There we go. All that temporary crap is going to like come out of the editor. It's just there so I can move forward with development. All right. We are very clean and organized now. Time to have some fun. Oh man, I don't want to. I don't want to not. Oh man, most of this has just been me doing a lot of cleanup, a little bit of refactoring. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go shortly. Let's I wanted to do more feature changes and stuff, but it is what it is. I showed you guys my workflow. I got some boring stuff that I needed to do done. So I'm in a good position to get back to like full speed development. In fact, I'll probably... I'm going to do some deep research on, actually I think I already have it, but I'm going to scriptable object data driven event driven quest system. And then, because that's going to be greenfield development, right? And again, this is the way I do this, the new systems are compartmentalized and they're in isolation, built in isolation. So I'm going to create a quest scene. Scenery, where you at? Quest system. And then next time I'm on stream tomorrow, so tomorrow morning I'm going to get on stream again. I may hop on stream after 11 Eastern tonight if I get off a little early. Because 11, 12, 1, no, I shouldn't do that. I'll be on tomorrow morning, and I'm going to basically work through the quest system. I'm going to get the farming working. I'm going to have the AIs harvesting the crops growing, and create all the debug interfaces and stuff to allow me to quickly test farming, harvesting, NPC actions around farming, and taking care of the farms and picking up the harvest and putting it in the inventory. I think tomorrow is just going to be AI. New goals, new actions, new moods, new thoughts around harvesting and farming and stuff like that. But it's been good. I'm glad, some of you are in here. Again, it was boring stuff. But again, my audio is working, so I'm pumped about that. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. Tomorrow morning I'll be back on, probably around 10 Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern, maybe a little earlier, and then I will get back to grinding. And it will be real feature build out and stuff. It's not going to be me refactoring or reorganizing my scripts or, teaching how my workflow to you guys again. I'll try to stay focused on building out features. And we should see the farming, the NPC and player farming mechanics get fleshed out, the quest system get kind of started and put in, and different things like that. So appreciate you guys stopping by. Give me a follow, give me a like. If you can follow me on Twitch, YouTube, and all that stuff. Here, I'll drop my link tree real quick. And join the Discord, man, especially if you're creative or, just want to learn. For sure, drop it in. I'm always just talking game dev. I'm always grinding out and, doing some nerdy stuff, knowledge dumping. Yeah. It's been good hanging with you guys, and I'm gonna get off this so I can go to a meeting and then get lunch. See you guys. Again, if you can give me a like, subscribe, follow, I really appreciate it. Appreciate y'all.